Oh, all right.
I'm live.
You are live. We are live. What is going on, everybody? How you doing?
Hey, Chris. Hey, Serge.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Gabe.
All right. Well, first off, for everybody, welcome to Show Me the Money Club with myself and Sergio, and we have special guest Gabe today. We are going to get into what Gabe's here for very soon. We have a packed kind of schedule of what we're going to be talking about. So you can see on the scrolling ticker some of the different stuff that we're going to be talking about when it comes to some of the different things out there, what's going on in Uber, Lyft, and how you can make more money. So show me the money. What's going on, Sergio?
Not much, Chris. So let's get into it. So this week, last week we talked about Uber and Lyft's earnings and how horrible Lyft was short of drivers, all that good stuff, right? Bad for the Lyft shareholders, but good for the drivers, because they said we're going to show them the money to get everybody back. Now, where are they going to get them from is the question, because Uber said, hey, we have no shortage. We're going to cut all the incentives. We're going to try to make some real money, as opposed to Gabe's famous and most favorite way of getting earnings, EBITDA, right, Gabe?
Yeah.
EBITDA is like we both are going to be super billionaires pretty soon, according to EBITDA. So they're going to try to get him back, they said. And, I honestly don't think Uber is flooded with drivers. I think they just have the right amount to service the demand. But I think Lyft better show them the money. Otherwise, they're going to be in pain.
That's kind of like the title of today is Uber handing Lyft drivers. And that's the whole thing. Like, you have one company that says we're cutting incentives, and you have another company that says we're going to invest into drivers and give them driver incentives. And, right now drivers are hurting, not only for the low pay, but gas prices are going back up again, which goes to what we talked about last week too, when you asked if that was going to continue on for the driver surcharge. And yeah, it's going to look like it. Who knows? Maybe they'll actually add more. But yeah, that's what it's going to come to. If you're a driver, you're going to go where the money is. If Lyft is offering incentives, that's where you're going to go and you're going to drive. Gabe, what do you think?
They didn't offer me any incentives, by the way, but I think they offered Gabe some juicy ones.
Yeah, I sent Serge a screenshot of what I got offered this week, and it's double what they offered me last week. And for months, Lyft hadn't offered any kind of what does Lyft call its thing? They don't call it a quest, do they? What do they call it? Bonus.
I call it Lyft Quest.
Lyft Quest,
whatever it is. I hadn't gotten those. Rarely gotten them. Looking at my incentives from the different companies over the years, Lyft has always followed Uber. Uber's always offered more money, and now that's been turned on its head. I don't know. I mean, good for Dara for finally, after a decade, figuring it out. Good work. Good job, man.
Good job, Dara. You earned your 25 million.
We have to. We can't. I love how he says, volume isn't going to make it. Volume isn't going to make us profits. Oh, really? I feel like that's been Uber's like secret sauce. Like, we're losing a nickel on each ride, but volume. That's how you do it.
So, by the way, on the screenshot, whoever's watching, is my streak bonuses, and that's all I have. In fact, I used to have 3 for 18s. They cut me down to 3 for 15 to 3 to 12 and 3 for 9. So Lyft is not having my card this week, that's for sure. But Gabe, looks like Lyft anything coming up for you.
Yeah, I mean, I got streak bonuses too. I'm probably looking at about working 20 hours this week tops, looking at $350 in incentives for less than 20 hours.
That's fantastic, man.
If I use my destination filter, like that's what Lyft's counting on, that you're not going to use your destination filter, that you're going to be an ant and pick up every ride they dole you out.
Well, that's also the streak bonus thing. They're going to give you either 3 or 5, And then that last one or the last two,
one.
depending on what it is, it's always going to be 30 minutes away or something where people don't want to take it.
It's going to go
You
into San
know what I
Francisco.
do though when I get those? I accept it anyway, because and hoping and praying that on the way there they'll reroute me, because you know how they're famous for their rerouting, right?
Oh yeah.
So to me, it's like and then if it doesn't happen, then I go, damn it! I was like, they didn't bite on that one. But yeah, so to me, that's just me in LA. The streaks are getting cut on Lyft, and actually, my quest for Uber was lower. Actually, the lowest I've seen since November. So Uber is also cutting. Maybe they're following up on what what Dara was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
For me,
mine was.
Oh, go ahead.
No, well, mine was 40 for 40 on Uber.
Oh Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's not that much better. It was $70, gives 70 rides for 140, so it's basically $2 a ride. And then the 10, I forget what it is after that, but it wasn't anything more than $10 or something. So I think it was like 150 total for the max one. And then Lyft, I haven't seen anything in my area, but I do see every time I go on Lyft, I'm seeing more surge versus Uber's side. Uber just shows this is the busy area, so why don't you go there? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I haven't seen surge as much on Uber's side, so maybe they are cutting down, but who knows?
So I've been watching on the Lyft app. There is solid 45 minutes to an hour and a half during the day that is surging like I have never seen it on Lyft. We had put up that picture last week, like $50.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not making money on any of that. But if you can use your DF and kind of stay in the zone and collect a few of those, I do feel like Lyft has definitely turned up the volume on the surge. Instead of the 2s and 3s peanuts, I'm seeing more like 6s and 8s and 10s and 12s. So maybe that's one way they're going to do it. On top of that, like Gabe's quest that we talked about. I mean, so maybe they are truly trying to get drivers from Uber. So we can jump into now this Dara's letter to to the world, because he had supposedly after the earnings report he had this conferences or a bunch of conversations with his institutional investors, and they all said, "Where's the money? Where's the money?
We're sick of this edema crap. We want
to show us the money." Yeah. And then he comes up with this alphabet soup. He's got like 3 favorite words now. Well, I call it his alphabet soup. It's FCF, Frank Charlie Frank, which stands for free cash flow. He keeps saying FCF, right? And then he goes POP. I go, what the heck is POP? It's called Power of the Platform, people. And I'm like, okay. And the last one is the network effect. So he puts it all together now in a box of garbage and says, hey, look at this. We have this, we have this, we have this. So I'm like, okay. So none of it makes sense to me, honestly, because when it comes to the the platform, power of the platform, he's expecting drivers to log on as a food delivery guy and then maybe switch to rideshare and then switch back to food. So that's his idea of keeping drivers on the platform. I'm not buying it. I think everybody is going to go where the money is. And he said getting hired by Uber going forward is going to be a privilege. It's not going to be just because you went to some, Columbia or some Yale or whatever. We're going to pick and choose who we hire. And I'm like, okay, but I still think maybe both of you agree that they have way too many employees anyway for what it is, what the app is. 23,000 employees globally. And that doesn't count the Philippines call support, by the way. So I'm going like, why do you guys need 23,000 coders, man? Right, Gabe? Think about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like, I just don't get it. Like, what are they spending all this money on?
Well, like, remember, they spent $200,000 on balloons.
Yes, I do recall that.
So, cutting. Oh, that was a few years ago. They had that whole
Oh,
article
the
come out
party?
with
Yeah.
the crazy spending that they had, and
Yeah.
$200,000 was buy balloons. But
mean-
that's all, like, you got to be. I mean, first off, that's a smart thing to do. Is don't be hiring frivolously, because you need to tighten the purse strings if you want to have that free cash flow coming in. You need to tighten up how you spend your money and be smart about it if you are trying to serve your shareholders. But the whole thing is, you can also pay drivers well and continue servicing people who are looking for rides. It can really be a win-win-win. You're just not thinking that way.
Right. Since
Yeah,
we have,
I think-
yeah, go ahead, Gabe.
Well, I would just like Travis. Did you guys watch Super Pumped? How many
I
of
watched
our
one episode I watched.
how many of our watchers, how many of our viewers I wonder watched that? But I thought it was because I read the book. I thought it was very accurate. And of course, what's the actor's name? Philip Michael Thomas, who plays Travis.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph
Something Levitt or something.
Yeah, Gordon.
Yeah, that's right.
Michael Gordon. Levitt. Why do people have to have 3 names? He can't just have 2 names. Anyway,
Look at you.
his
To be like Prince or Sharon have one name.
yeah, it's only 3 syllables. Serge, come on. But his face is so punchable in that role. It's just perfect for portraying Travis, I gotta say.
Yeah, no, I think so I'm assuming all these 23,000 employees, right? They're all got to be involved in coding, algorithms, all that evil shit that they're writing, right? So I'm going like, okay, so they're not working for anything less than a couple $100K a year, right? So if you just look at the top brass at Uber, so between Dara, the CFO, Tony West, all these guys, it's 100 million. No joke. I added it all up. It's public information, by the way. So that's just the top salaries without stock options of these guys. And then you have 23,000 employees globally who are, I'm sure, making at least a couple $100K a year or more, right? I mean, that's what, okay, 100K. Who's working less than 100K at Uber other than the janitors who are outsourced, I'm sure, right? So I'm like, come on, man. That's how you cut it, right? But so it's a privilege, by the way, to get hired by Uber. If you sent your resume to Uber, don't look for a response anytime soon.
Who knows? Maybe Twitter's hiring.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah. And so he said, there is a seismic shift going on, and we have to adapt. I'm like, I wonder what the seismic shift he's talking about. Is that like screwing the passenger and the driver at the same time, or what? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. The seismic shift will be Uber figuring out that they have to be we're actually a taxi business. Just like the article I wrote in Medium 4 years ago. Uber is a taxi company, and they even used to be called Uber Cab. It's a taxi company, and the sooner they figure that out and then start researching the taxi cab industry and seeing what it takes to be profitable in the taxi cab industry, that's going to take them another step closer to profitability.
But I mean, all 3 businesses they're involved in, right? Taxi, well, they disrupted the taxi industry, food delivery, and now trucking, right? Uber Freight. All 3, historically, if you go back 100 years, they all have been very razor thin margin businesses anyway. So what are you disrupting? If you're going to really make some money, buddy, hey, Dara, come on our show, please. I beg you. Come on. Let me do this the right way with you. So if you're going to disrupt and make some money, go disrupt like a software business. Then we're talking 1,000% margins, and then you disrupt them, and then you go along. Because your technology is not going to squeeze more blood out of the rock, because there's no blood in the rock. It's a 3 to 5% margin business. How much can you squeeze out of that? You know what I mean? Yeah. So
that's why they're partnering with cabs.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you have that screenshot that you guys the RideShare Guy did a survey? They said, will you keep driving for Uber? Will you drive whoever's showing you the money, or will you stay with Uber? I checked that out. This was, I love this one. Check it out, Gabe.
I gotta pull it up. It's gonna take a minute.
Okay, no worries. So we did a survey, Gabe, and asked drivers if Uber's cutting back and Lyft is giving you more money, right? Would you stay with Uber, Would you go where the money is, or what was the third one? Yeah, it was show me the money, stay with Uber, or well, you'll see on the screenshot. So long story short, 80% plus said show me the money. So we're getting out there, man. People are believing in what we're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think workers in general, not just Uber, but I think all workers are starting to realize
There it is.
that workers are valuable, that workers are the ones that generate the wealth.
Yep.
And we have a right, we have some say in that, that if we wanted to, we could have some say over our working conditions and our pay, and how we're treated in general.
Yep.
And it's a good thing for people to realize.
Yeah, I agree. So broad gas is killing my hustle, man. I don't know. I don't want to disagree with our viewers, but I actually want the gas prices to stay high, because trust me, people, I'm telling you, I'm in LA, but I look, we put up a couple of my screenshots. Harry wants me to post it on our Facebook page, right? So we put up a couple of those screenshots that I took all times of the day in LA. And then a lot of people, by the way, like, this is it, right? Okay, so this is at 7:30 in the morning. I mean, come on now. If you can't make money in this, then you're just I mean, by the way, from north to south, that thing is like 60 miles, okay? If you can't make money on this, I don't know when you'll make money. You know what I'm saying? And this is like this literally 24 hours a day, except maybe like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. After that, it's like lights up again. So, come on.
Where do you work, Chris?
I'm in the Buffalo, New York market. So
wow.
It's technically all upstate New York, but I drive primarily in Buffalo. And then you get a couple of rides that go up to like Niagara Falls. And that's really about it. Sometimes Rochester, but mostly in Buffalo, yeah.
Does Buffalo ever look like that?
At times, yeah. Mostly at night. Usually when I drive, because of the bars, mostly in the bar districts. Although the last few weekends, it's been pretty much the entire city of Buffalo has been lit up like that. Not near those numbers. We're getting, anywhere from, $4.50 is like the lowest, up to maybe like $12. And that'll stay on pretty much until about 5 a.m. because our bars close at 4.
Huh. So you have a driver shortage there.
A little bit, it seems. But like I said, I just looked at the app right now. There's nothing that's showing on Ubers for surge, but there is some. Actually, just a short south drive for me is the Lyft surge. So there is money to be made if you know where you're going, what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
Gabe, we talk a lot. We exchange a lot of screenshots, right? I mean, LA is like this, right? So on that Facebook page comment, there were a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, that's because." Like, look at this comment. I'm like, I go, how do you even respond to this? Some guy said, "Oh, it's because all the mom and pops who are driving their kids to school are not driving. That's why it's surging, and it's temporary." I'm like, buddy, no, it's like this probably 18 out of the 24 hours. So it's none of that stuff. To me, it's like, if there was no shortage on the Uber platform, why are prices surging, right? Isn't surge supposed to be like supply and demand, right? So maybe there is way too much demand and supply is just there, but then they're putting up these numbers, number one. Number two, I am not buying what Dara is selling at all. Neither is Wall Street, by the way. Look at the stock price. So he keeps saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, there's no shortage of drivers." I'm like, bullshit, right there. There is shortage of drivers right there, pretty much.
Yeah, and look at some of these comments. Reagan National Airport, $20 surge right now.
Yeah, no, there is surge all day long in LA, and a lot of people put up like screenshots from Virginia, from Miami, from DC. It was pretty much the same surge numbers, literally, right? And I'm like, come on. So this is the time to be a rideshare driver. Enjoy the money. Show me the money. Who wants to tackle that one? On being suspended. Yep. Yeah, that's I wrote an article about that, by the way. Lyft almost did that to me about a month ago because I wouldn't pick up some crackhead. So, and I canceled, and my cancellation rate went above their threshold, which is 5%, by the way. 5%. What's the big deal? And then they sent me to what is that? I called it I called it Cancellation Rehab School. They did. No joke. I have the screenshots in the article. People go look on the blog. And then, rehab. I did my rehab. And then they said, oh, by the way, after the rehab, you have to do 10 rides in a row without canceling. So we know you're worthy of my platform. I go, middle finger to you, buddy.
That must have, because do you know how many, I don't, that was a few weeks ago. And I around the same time, I was getting those kind of passive aggressive emails and messages from Lyft, like your account is at risk of deactivation. You've been canceling a lot of rides. It's a bad customer experience. I was canceling that. Can we curse on this? Is the FCC coming?
Sure.
I canceled the shit out of so many rides the other day because my destination filter was malfunctioning. Glitchy, and it kept sending me rides, and then I'd accept and then realize they're too far away, and then I would cancel. And they're not sending me those messages anymore. And my cancellation rate's got to be like in the 20s at this point.
Really? And you're still on?
Not only that, the other thing too is like you just want to send them back an email that says, look, I don't like the driver experience when I have to get rerouted after I've driven 15 minutes going that way or whatever it might be, just to go back to where I was to pick up the passenger that you rerouted.
Okay, April. Oh, yeah. April says Lyft does have the driver's back. Does not have the driver's back. I agree with you, April, 100%. Lyft is as garbage as Uber is when it comes to having drivers back. Nobody has our back except ourselves. So I'm like, to me, it's like, man, watch yourself. You know, this woman's walking to my car, cussing at me already before she even opens the door. And Lyft says, "Oh yeah, you just gotta put that lady in and grab her bags and help her out." And I'm like, she's not 80 years old. She's some like 23-year-old crackhead at 6 a.m. Bro, you're not getting in my car. You have no chance to get in my car. So
yeah, like, hey. You know, nobody has the right to second guess why I refused service unless they were right there with me, you know? Like,
and it's in the Lyft community guidelines, by the way. It says clearly, it's in there. It says if you feel unsafe, you have the right to cancel. Well, I'm feeling unsafe. Somebody cussing at me already before they got in my car. And then the next one would be like getting stabbed in the neck. I'm like, no, I don't want to be on the news. I'm good with this way. See you later. See my tailpipes. So yeah. And but you know, it is what it is. I mean, to me, it's like this is really the right time to do RideShare if you really want to make some serious money. And who knows how long this will last. You know, my experience is it's not going to last, but maybe it will. The summer season's coming up, Gabe. It's hot season, man. It's peak season, right?
So yeah, we get a slow period in the Bay Area. Traditionally, we've had a slow period between when school lets out and when the tourist season hits full swing in August.
Yeah.
So it's going to be slow. I mean, it has been in the past slow May, June, July, but now the low unemployment and high gas prices have really changed the equation.
So these are my quests for this week. None of this is happening. So let's see. They introduced something called Boost Plus that I wrote about. Used to be like $11, $12, $13 per ride. Now I'm down to $250, $450 because they figured they're losing money on every single ride. So none of these is happening. So Uber is definitely cutting me off when it comes to quests and things like that. So do you honestly think both of you guys, Lyft is going to get drivers back? Or are they going to just keep struggling because they're a one-trick pony and they're just going to go away at some point?
Well, Gabe can start with that one.
Oh, I think Lyft is going to last as long as Uber is. I mean, they might as well be the same company.
Well, what about the network effect, Gabe? What about the power of the platform?
That reminds me. Was it a Chris Rock routine where he said the power of but a different word that starts with P?
Most likely. So.
I don't know. Anyway, the power of the platform. Yeah. I don't think so. Do you know? I don't think. Well, I mean, just from the driver's side and the passenger side, I feel like Uber Eats customers and Uber passengers are kind of different audiences, different customer bases. And also I don't know the answer to this. Maybe one of you does. How much back and forth is there between delivery and rideshare driving? You know, like
Well, according to Dara, they said
Oh.
he said there is no reason for the driver to switch to another platform, because like his point was, okay, morning rush hour 7 to 10 a.m. you do rideshare, then lunch hour you do food delivery, then they'll pick up again between 2 and 7 p.m. then you do rideshare, and then you stay with our platform and do a few more hours of food delivery. And I'm going like, no, that's not going to happen like that, because I don't care. We should bring on the king of food delivery, our RSG contributor, Pedro, right?
Mhm.
I don't think he's making half of what I'm making doing rideshare. Rideshare is where the money's at. I think all these delivery drivers who are like, whoa, wow, I'm making $25 an hour. I'm like, no, yeah, you may be, but you're making half as much as a decent or a top 1% rideshare driver. So
Yeah,
it's
but if
different.
you go average to average,
Yeah.
that could be a little bit different. But it'd be interesting to have that type of debate: rideshare versus food delivery.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
they're just such different jobs, right,
yeah,
Serge? Like,
Mhm.
have you done any delivery, Sergio
none,
or Chris?
none.
I
I
did
did.
two rides and I did two deliveries, and I hated it. It was horrible. I don't
Okay.
want
So
to do that anymore.
here's my story. I delivered pizza for 8 years. It was
Oh, okay.
fantastic. Money
Ooh.
was every order you'd get was tipped. Like for 97% of the rides that I gave or deliveries that I delivered. But then rideshare came around. It was great. You're taking people, you're talking to them, you get to know people for the 5-10 minutes that they're in the car. You kind of get a window into other people's worlds, even though they think, I don't know if they just realize that nobody's there or something, but some of the stuff you hear. Then when Uber Eats came into my area, I'm like, sure, I'll try it because I did pizza delivery for so long. I liked it, but let's see how this is. And they were offering like when I was doing it, it would be like $3 extra for every single Uber Eats order that you took because it just came into the market. So they're trying to get people. It was like $3 or $4. Sometimes it was $5 per delivery. So it was great. You were making good money, but I hated it because the only couple of places that were on was McDonald's and I think like Chipotle and like a couple other places. So I didn't want to sit in McDonald's parking lot for 25 minutes waiting for this order to
I don't
come
get
in
it.
and then take it because then I'm only making, $7 for 30, 40 minutes worth of, and I could take, 2 or 3 rides during that time and make way much more than that. So
Plus,
I
God
stopped.
forbid, God forbid, it's an apartment delivery. I mean, holy crap! How do you how do you go park and find this stuff? So before before we hit the EVs and Gabe fully, let's like answer a couple because there's a couple of really good questions there. So Barnes Corp says, "What do you guys think about background checks on passengers?" I think it's a great idea, but I don't think it will ever happen.
Never
Um,
happened.
it will never happen. So that would be great, though, right? So, and April says, as long as we work for these companies, they will last. We all need to stop working for them if they don't want to have our backs. April, I don't know how long you've been driving. I've been around 6 years, Gabe, probably longer than me. These companies are not going to have your back. You're an independent contractor, according to them, which is misclassified, but let's go with that. You are in it for yourself every single possible way. You're not in it for Uber. You're not in it for Lyft. You're not in it for the passenger. You're in it for you. You make the most amount of money in the least amount of time and go home safely. That's it. And then next shift is the next shift. That's the way I approach these guys. So,
Yeah. No, but April's right.
yeah.
Right. If they don't have any drivers, what do they have?
Well, that's what
Nothing.
that's what they've been saying from the first day, right? Travis used to look at the driver as the evil biggest thorn on his side, but at least he would say it.
Mhm.
He was talk about it. It was like, you guys are the curse. Without you guys, we'd be making so much money. My flying Ubers are coming. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, they're
So,
flying.
all these guys, one thing they don't understand, right? I mean, I include DoorDash and Grubhub and all the food delivery or Instacart, all these gig companies who are absolutely dying right now, is that, all these execs enjoy their software or services as a consumer, right? Since none of them get out there and do the actual work, they don't understand what the drivers are going through on a daily basis. This is delivery and rideshare. So that disconnect is so deep that I don't think they're ever going to fix any of this stuff, because they still look at the driver as a curse, and not understanding, or admitting at least, that without drivers, there is no gig economy, people. None. Zero. Somebody has to take the food somewhere. Somebody has to take the groceries somewhere. Somebody has to take this person to the airport. No drivers, no gig economy. But they still don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do. I mean, my personal feeling is that everyone who invested in Uber in the early days, and everyone that's at a high level there now, knows that Uber can't be profitable, and they're just trying to keep it going as long as they can, so they can, pull out their stock options or cash out, or make it to the next bonus, or whatever it is that they're doing. At this point, it's a big Potemkin village,
Yeah.
Hey, Adam C is one of our Uber and Lyft EV driver forum members, and he came over here. Appreciate him coming over, and he's saying, what do you guys think? Do you recommend treating rideshare driving as a part-time job with a paid-off car, or should you make an investment in a new car or a used car that you're financing, even though there's not a lot of job security?
I think you can handle that, Gabe, just because we can actually jump into your EV.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think we should, because I think it is so timely, really, that a lot of drivers are questioning, like, should I get an EV with these high gas prices? Okay, in my opinion, I don't think gas prices are ever going to go back to what they were, unless we hit a really severe, deep recession. I don't think we're going back to $4 a gallon in California anyway. 4 is like very high in some places, I know. 4 for us is like cheap. So we started at 4.20, and we're at like 6-ish now. So I don't see us going back to 4.20 unless we hit a horrible recession. And if we do hit a horrible recession, I think some of these companies are going to go away, because nobody's going to order or pay $10 for a cup of coffee to be delivered to them. You know what I mean? They're going to get off their ass and go across the street and get it at Starbucks themselves. So
it was $20 actually for that Starbucks order, not 10.
Was it really? Holy shit! Have you ever used that service, Gabe? DoorDash, Uber Eats?
Yeah, we do, and it's expensive. But we like once a month, because my wife really likes sushi, so once a month we order the sushi and
Uber Eats,
have them deliver, and boy, is it expensive, man. 3 people, like $110, and it's I hate using this word, literally sushi from a gas station. There's a place here in Oakland, in the back of the gas station, they make sushi. It's pretty good.
Some of those may be good ones.
I go pick up everything.
Yeah.
So do I.
All right, so let's let's transition talking into the EV department of things, but let's answer Adam's question first, because that's actually a pretty good thing. I have a couple of things to say on that.
What do you think, Chris?
Okay, for me, I say gig part-time. That's for me. That's, every single person has their own reasons what they're going to do and why they're doing it, whether it's going to be full-time, part-time, or whatnot. I prefer doing it part-time. I've always done it part-time. There were a little time where I kind of did it full-time, but I didn't want to do it that much. So I scaled it back to part-time. And you're full-time, you're putting so many more miles on the car and things like that. The thing when it comes to a new car, I would say whatever you have, drive. I have a 2013 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it's got 178,000 miles on it. Still runs like it's brand new, because I take care of it. So that's one of the big things. Take care of your vehicle from the moment you get it all the way through its lifespan. And you know what? If you can get the car to 300,000 miles and you're still driving part-time, that's going to pay for cars, 2-3 cars if you save your money. So that's one way to look at it. Also, when people I see all the time on Facebook or different pages and things like that, Uber people and this, they always say and complain that, oh, comfort just changed and now my car doesn't qualify for it. But when I bought my car, it did. So don't make if you have to buy a new car for whatever reason, then, or even a newer car, just like in the last couple of years, for rideshare or food delivery, whatever you might be doing, don't make your decision based on a particular car that falls under a certain category like comfort, because just as quick they can say, sorry, it doesn't qualify for it anymore. And that's what happened with some of the Lux rides and the luxury rides and black rides.
Mhm.
They took some of those cars that people spent 80, 90, 100 grand on and said, sorry, it doesn't qualify for it anymore. So you can only use Uber X now. And, you still got $50,000 on your note. How are you going to make that $50,000, just driving Uber X when you have, a luxury car, you got to put premium fuel in it. So instead of, $5.80 in your area, now you're spending $7 a gallon or something. Mine, it's, I think, about $5 for premium now, when it's $4.30 a gallon regular. So yeah, you just got to make smart decisions and don't base it on, what car can qualify for something extra. If it does, great, but think of it as a bonus at that point. So that's for me. And then going into EVs, that's what we got Gabe on for. So we can get into that in just a moment. You guys,
the professor is here, so people listen to this man. This man knows more about the Professor Gabe is here. This man knows more. That's right, right here. This man knows more about EV than I know about anything else. So, and no, he's a great friend, RSG contributor, of course, and we'll give him the floor because I'm this close, Gabe, to buying one. That Leaf thing that you put up last week with all the credits, if I can get one.
You know what? Uber screwed me on that.
Oh, come on.
Okay, really? I'm going to tell you why. I posted in my story, you can get this $6,000 credit because here it is. It's in the Uber fine print, and they even got a discount code. And you go to your Nissan dealer, you're like, I want $6,000 off my new Leaf. So did a little investigation, helped by the people in my EV forum, of course. And I emailed the Nissan their special purchase program. Right. They have a special purchase program, and that's where you use the codes and you get the discounts like friends and family discounts, employee discounts, that kind of thing. She's like, that's not a valid code. I don't know where that code came from. Like, I don't know. Wow. I'm not gonna say Uber made it up, but I've sent multiple emails to Uber's one of Uber's PR guys, and now he's ghosting me. I don't know if on purpose or he's just looking for the answer and he doesn't have anything to say. But I'm like, hey, Nissan says this is not a valid code. Where's the code? Like, where is this valid? Who can you point me to any drivers who've actually collected this discount? What's going on?
You crush my dreams.
Yeah, you're not getting a Nissan Leaf for $6,000
off. Come on.
Sorry, we have to correct the story because now I look like a jackass. I look like an Uber shill.
Oh yeah.
Go buy your Nissan. That was the whole basis of my story. Like, you can buy a Nissan Leaf with the 180 mile range, and it's only $12,000 after incentives. Like, and it's brand new, and you'll get $4,000 from Uber every year, and blah blah blah.
Pretty soon you can't buy 4 tires for $12,000. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but no, I honestly was like, holy crap! I think I'm going to go get one.
Well, it's not a bad idea. I mean, but the thing is, like, Chris is right. If you have a car right now, that's worth a lot of money. Used cars. I mean, used cars are bumping over $30,000 for average used car transaction. Yep. Although that's kind of warped by these weirdos who are buying those Mercedes G wagons. Do you know about those?
Yeah. I have so many. I have so many in my neighborhood. All the Armenian wives are driving G wagons. No joke. I'm not kidding. I think the whole dealership is here, so I have no doubt it's happening.
Yeah. So I mean, used cars are like over $30,000. Just a regular gas car. Just
that's a bubble.
Like I'm seeing 12-year-old Honda Civics for $11,000 with like 150,000 miles on them.
Okay, it's a bubble. Let me tell you why. Okay, look at.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, just like real estate, just like used cars. In what part of this country's history has a car doubled as a used car in price? Never. Okay, So look at Carvana.
Older classics will.
Yeah, no, not those. I'm talking like, everyday Civic, like Honda Civic is talking about. So Carvana,
Vega, man.
yeah, that's a different story.
I can get 10, 12 grand for my Jeep with 178,000 on it.
That's a different car. But all these used car prices doubling is ridiculous. It's stupid. Look at
God,
Carvana. Yeah. Carvana just laid off 2,500 people today. Their stock is down. Yeah, their stock is down from 400 to 37. So
I'm glad they already bought my car.
There you go.
I sold them a car. I sold Carvana a car. They bought it from me for $1,000 more than I bought it from a dealership 1 month before.
Yeah, that's their AI. That AI is really working well. The AI bidding system is really working well. Yeah. There was one thing here to mention it, because it's right throttling a thing. Joe Negrao. Okay, listen, buddy. Right throttling, it has been a thing since I joined Uber and Lyft, especially on Uber. There's a perfect example. Work 50 ride Uber Quest, hit 49 and nothing for 2 hours. Welcome to Uberland. That is definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. So there goes your flexibility and freedom, buddy. It's definitely a thing. So let me give you advice about that. There are so many people on Sunday night on your shoes. I recommend do not leave that last 2 rides for 10 p.m. Sunday night, because you are not going to get it. So finish it in the morning, even do a couple of cheapy rides, whatever it is, finish it early, because there are tons of people every Thursday and every Sunday night. There are cars galore out there trying to finish their quest. It's not going to happen. Not everybody is going to get that quest. That's why exactly it's there, right? They show you the carrot, you'll never get it. So
that's when I flung my Uber beacon out my passenger window.
Uber free Uber.
It's about a year after I got rid of my lighted Lyft stash.
The pink mustache.
I threw that at a guy's head.
Yeah, we should have all known that this was a horrible idea. The pink mustache in front of a car, for God's sakes, what the heck is going on?
The fuzzy stash? Oh, wait a second.
Oh, you got it.
Can you see it?
Oh my God. Are you a hoarder, Gabe? You look like a hoarder. I don't know. You never throw anything away.
All right, who wants to purchase it? We'll sell it right now. It's bitter. A little nostalgia.
I hadn't seen one of those forever.
I brought it home. My wife's like, "You're not putting that on my car."
Absolutely not. No, you're not coming near me with it, let alone putting it on my car. What the fuck? Holy shit.
Okay, so we're talking about electric vehicles, right?
So what's the best electric vehicle to do rideshare with?
To do rideshare with? I mean, I think it's so let's giant caveat. All right. I sound like I'm just nothing. I'm all about electric vehicles, get an electric vehicle, but you know what? It's not true, because it doesn't work for everybody. If it's not going to work for your use case for how you do rideshare and where you live and the kind of budget that you have, it's not going to work. Stick with what you're doing. It's not a universal thing, but I think about half the rideshare drivers out there could benefit from an EV. Think about half of them, because I don't know. I feel like if you're doing more than 350 miles a day, you're doing it wrong. That's my instinct, but I think maybe in some parts of the country, like, no, that really is the best way to make money, is to just stick with the real super long distance rides. And in fact, Serge, I remember a couple of years ago, I was using your destination filter strategy to do like super long rides from like San Francisco to San Jose and then back to San Francisco, and doing like $40 an hour doing that. So, for some people, maybe it really does work.
Yeah.
The long distance rides.
Mm-hmm.
But doing short rides with the destination filter or whatever other way you do to just get the short rides, I think that is the way you get your bonuses, you get your streak bonuses, and that's the way you're going to make money. And an electric vehicle is going to fit in really nicely with that strategy.
Yeah.
Because
and you won't use your juice that fast either, right? I mean, you're using short rides, braking a lot, doing all that stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Last week I used my friend's Polestar 2.
Oh, how'd that go?
Oh man, that car's out of hand.
Really?
So fast. Oh my God. What's crazy? It's like, it's fast. Well, my Tesla's rear wheel drive. This Polestar 2 was all wheel drive.
Oh, dual motor.
Oh, that thing was fast.
It's a rocket.
Oh God. Oh my God. Fast and then handled. What's that? Oh
faster
no.
Okay.
No, it's not faster than a Plaid, but a Plaid's like ridiculous. It's $120,000.
Oh, it's
This was
insane.
half the price. And
Well, let me ask you though. A lot of people, I think, have a lot of misconceptions when it comes to EVs. Like the range fear. Like you
range
fear that you're going to lose a charge on the road or something like that.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on putting people at ease who might be kind of on the fence or, just kind of dismissing an EV as a possibility?
I don't know if I've written a range anxiety story for RideShare Guy, but I've written several of them for other publications for like commercial clients. And range anxiety, you don't find a lot of range anxiety among actual EV owners. You find the range anxiety in the people who are considering EVs, and they're like, oh, the EV is not going to have enough range for me. But like, there's kind of like 5 basic things that I talk about to get over range anxiety. And, one of them is to realize that when you go to charge somewhere, you don't have to charge the battery all the way, because by the time you're charging remotely away from your house, because one of my things is, if you don't have a way to charge at home every night when you go and park your car and go to bed, don't get an EV. But if you have a place to charge every night, then it makes sense. But if you are like, you get out of bed and your car is at 60%, and now you have to go find a charger and get it back up to 80%, and while you're having breakfast or whatever, like that's going to get old so fast. It's not going to work. But if you're starting with a full charge, like I can start with a full charge on my car. It's not even the it's not even the big battery. It's not even the long range version, but I could probably drive for at least 10 hours straight without charging that car. And by then, like you drive for 10 hours. I mean, you can only drive for 12. So you drive for 10 hours, and by now it's like what, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. You go, you plug in, like if it's Tesla, you plug it into a supercharger for 15 minutes and it adds 100+ miles. So that's going to have you going for at least another 4 to 6 hours. And it's certainly enough. And then maybe you took a long distance trip and now you're 80 miles from your house. Well, you plug in for 15 minutes and you drive back home. Like that should alleviate range anxiety. You're not going to be stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere with no charge and waiting for hours while that little bar slowly goes back to 100%. You don't have to do that. All you need is enough miles to get back home. And as you drive your car, you realize you learn how to read it and figure out how accurate its predictions for mileage are going to be. And then you get comfortable with driving electric. And in a lot of ways, it's the same as a gasoline car. Like, here's what I hated when I was driving a gasoline car. Every time I drive a gasoline car to do rideshare with, like, you're driving, you drive all day and then you park. And then now you're starting another shift. You're going to drive 8 hours. You're going to drive 10 hours and you're at a quarter tank. And now, like, maybe it's just getting busy, but now you have to stop and you want to go find the cheapest gas because it's $100 to fill your tank. You want to see where you can save 10 or 15 bucks. So now you're driving all over the place. And then you got all those little apps that Harry's always pushing, like, oh, you're save 3 cents a gallon, save 8 cents a gallon if you have this card, and you go on this app and you do this and do that. And then the cheapest gas is always in, I don't know about down in LA. Actually, I know down in LA, the cheapest gas is like in the most horrifying neighborhoods, right? You're like, and it's 2 a.m. and there's just like these, like Neanderthals. It's like,
I'm not going to Compton to get cheap gas, but I mean, I think what is your opinion of the Uber Hertz? $330 only week deal. You think any rideshare driver can make money with that deal?
Well, you'll make money.
I mean, they can make money, but I mean,
not a lot. I don't know. I mean, look, if you're really hitting it, I mean, Serge, knowing what
60 hours a week. Yeah.
If you work 60 hours a week, what kind of money do you think you could make?
I can make good mone if I work 60, because you know what?
If you survived.
If I didn't die or kill somebody, so here would be this. I figured out of 24 times 7, 148 hours a week, right? I can find 60 hours. I can drive Surge only, squeeze my Quest in and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure I can bring in like $2,500 in 60 hours easily.
Okay.
But with that Uber Hertz deal, right? It's like $500 going to the car. So it's still okay money, but then I don't think it's worth it to me. I mean, owning your car, I think, is better.
I think it would cost you about $400 a week. to rent the Tesla. And I don't know if you think about it, the average American spends something like $9,500 a year on their car, and
it sits there,
and they're only driving for 12 to 14,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
We're driving, our guys are driving, 40, 50, 60,000 miles a year.
easily.
One thing that I found doing my spreadsheets. Oh, can I share my screen and show you my affordable EV
Sure.
spreadsheet that I made for the article? I don't know what happens when I click share.
I think you gotta select you got to select what you want to do, and then when you're ready, let me know.
Oh, okay. Let's see from your computer. Okay, an upload file. But anyway, well, I can do that. I probably should have been better prepared. But
the next thing, if you want to talk about cost, and maybe like a little cost analysis breakdown of spending the amount on gas versus the higher cost of an EV or things like that, or something, because somebody had mentioned that in the comments.
Here we go.
Earlier.
Okay, here's my can you see my screen? Did it share?
Nope.
No, I see you.
Was that your cat?
Wait, here we go. Wait, hang on a second.
Here, I got it.
Oh, there
we
is.
go.
Okay, there we go.
Boom, right there.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to make sure people knew is that your expenses per mile plummet when you start doubling or tripling the average miles that most people drive. So if you're driving 50, 60,000 miles a year, like here on my spreadsheet, you are really going to be driving your per mile cost way, way down. And that's where, and then when the price of gas gets really high, like it is right now, that's where you're really going to start showing an advantage. So here you can see even a used hybrid, like a $20,000 used hybrid. And if I wanted a nice hybrid, that's about what I'm going to spend right now. You can see that even buying a new Leaf Plus or a used EV you're going to save a significant amount of money. And this is with us. And by the way, this chart I made with subprime interest. So 20% for a used car loan and 15% for a new car loan, which I'm sure is horrifying to
So you're saying, I'm not happening. So you're what you're saying then is that if for a full-time Uber driver, 50, 60, 70-hour drivers, right? EV makes a lot of sense in California, especially now.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. But there's a lot of questions,
Yeah, but I mean, but Gabe, so everybody pays attention to just the gasoline prices versus not going to the gas station, right? So there is a charging cost to this, especially if you're not charging at home. If you're if you're going to a supercharger or a Go EV Go or one of these other ones, Plug Share or whatever it is. So how high are they? Are they like ridiculously exorbitantly high to charge these things I'm sure you use the Tesla supercharger, right? So for that 20 minutes, what'd you pay for that?
It depends what time of day, and it depends. Around the country, all the superchargers are charging different rates. Here in California, they're probably a lot more than other places, but it also depends on the time of day. So the superchargers during peak hours are 48 cents a kilowatt. A kilowatt hour, and off peak they're 28 cents a kilowatt hour. When I charge in my garage, even with the PG&E special discount, it's still like 17 or 18 cents a kilowatt hour. Electricity is really expensive here in California because PG&E is a horrible company that has made horrible decisions, and they're making consumers pay for they're making us pay to deregulate we have to pay to deregulate the Diablo Canyon nuclear reactor that PG&E owns. And then of course PG&E set half the state on fire, over the last few summers. So we have to pay for that because they're getting sued. I think PG&E is the first corporation in human history to be convicted of murder. So they're making their ratepayers pay for it. And most people are paying 11 cents a kilowatt hour or less for electricity. But if you're charging remotely, you're going to spend a lot of money. But like I said before, when you do that, you're probably going to be charging at an off-peak time, right? It's going to be late at night because you charged in the morning, and you're also you don't need to fill the battery all the way. In fact, you can't. Most fast chargers, the DC fast chargers and the Tesla supercharger, they're going to stop. They usually get so slow after 80% that you might as well just unplug and go home, because the charging speed gets super slow. So like
when you get up to 80%,
the first 80% is going to be 30 or 40 minutes. Then after that, it's going to be like an hour and a half. To get all
I
the way
figured that out on my wife's Bolt.
And the Bolt's especially slow. I think the Bolt. You asked earlier, like, what's the best electric vehicle for rideshare? I'm like, you could do a lot worse with the Chevy Bolt. I think it's a terrific rideshare vehicle. I used mine for 2 years, put 80,000 miles on it. Like, that thing was great.
Until it caught on
but
fire.
It doesn't charge very fast. What's that?
Until it caught on fire.
Until it caught on fire, but we were ready with the marshmallows and the sticks.
Okay.
Yeah, we made s'mores. It was nice.
Show us your cat, by the way. Can we see your cat? Because she's been meowing throughout the show. Oh my God! No, go the other way, Gabe. Go the other way. There you go.
There you go.
That's Garfield right there.
Because it's his dinner time.
Don't abuse your cat like that.
Let us tease a little Ford Mustang Mach-E that you were able to drive. So we got a little video that we're going to play right now, and then if you want to just share a few quick thoughts on that, and then.
RideShare Guy, and I got something really special for you today. I'm sitting in a 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E electric vehicle, and I'm going to show you what it's like to drive a Ford Mustang Mach-E for rideshare. This car is the dual motor. Boy, is it fun to drive. It just takes off. I don't know if you can hear it, but when you floor it in unbridled, it makes a
big noise, huh?
It does.
It's like the Taycan.
What it's like to be a passenger in this car?
Impressive, spacious, futuristic.
They look cramped to me, bro. Look at them.
The passenger seats are so much better than a Tesla. If you're an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, you'll really appreciate how when you go to external nav, it opens up a nice, clear Google or Apple Maps on this giant display here. When you get into a car like this.
All right. So first off, video for a full review video is coming soon. So make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell for notifications for that, because it is the Ford Mustang Mach-E. So give us a couple of 3 quick points on that car.
Really nice car to drive, and passengers just love it. But the bottom line is range is limited, although it charges quickly. But the range, depending on the model you buy, the range might be a limiting factor. But other than that, that's a nice car. It was fun.
And then it goes vroom.
It goes vroom. It actually pipes in the noise into the speakers in the cabin. Like it's totally quiet on the outside.
Which Tesla is it, by the way? That like if it makes all kinds of different car noises, like Hellcat, and is that the Model S?
I don't know.
Or the Plaid. Is that the Plaid? I think there is one. I watched a video somewhere that literally it's like makes 6 or 7 different ice car sounds. I think it was the Plaid. So like you could say to make a Lambo sound, and it'll make a Lambo sound. They have speakers outside. So I'm like, wow. I go, how necessary is that?
Imagine pulling up to somebody in a Tesla Model S Plaid with like the Ferrari or something, and then
or next to an actual Ferrari.
That'd be hilarious.
And blow their doors off. That'll be the end of that.
What's happening?
I think it's just the Tesla Model S.
I think it's the Tesla S.
Because I remember that before, because the Plaid just came out, and I think they were talking about that a while ago, which is hilarious. But that vroom. When I heard that, when I was looking at watching the video, I'm like, oh my God, that's great.
It was fun. It's fun though. I mean, it's a fun car, and it's weird. Like, okay, here's the main thing. So the Bolt, I'd get like a quarter of the people would get in the car and be like, oh, this is an electric car, blah, blah, blah. And then my Tesla, almost everybody who gets in is like, oh my God, it's a Tesla. I've never ridden in a Tesla. And then, the Polestar that I drove last week, maybe, just like maybe a third of people even had any idea what it was. Like
It's a Volvo,
so
right?
It's Volvo-ish, yeah, but
Yeah.
they say it's its own thing.
Yeah.
But then but that Mustang, like everybody gets in and everybody says something about it. Everyone, like no exceptions.
American muscle and electricity. There you go.
Yeah, they're like, this is a Mustang. I've never seen one of these before. Blah blah blah. They love it.
One question you should answer is Adam size questions. You go, after you put like 120,000 miles in 3 years or 2 years, can you sell that thing? He goes, I bet you can. But I don't think you can sell it for more, because this used car price thing is just like anything else. It's a bubble. It's about to die. So if you're going to sell a car, people, please sell a car. Take my advice. It's not going to keep going like this.
Yeah, Adam, I think that any car, when you're using it for an extended period for rideshare, it's going to seriously diminish the value. But I think it's my opinion that because gas cars are a shrinking market and electric vehicles are a growing market, I think over the next 5 years, you're going to see a reversal in terms of how electric cars hold their values and how gasoline cars hold their values.
Yeah.
People are going to want electric cars. And, right now you could go on Craigslist in your city, look for a used Model S with 150,000 miles on it. And they're going to be asking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for that car.
Shit, that's crazy.
Yeah. And in fact, someone recently, one of the, I think it might've been Wired. No, it was CNET. CNET recently did a story about how, electric vehicles, you don't know about the full costs of buying an electric vehicle. Depreciation is really bad with electric vehicles. And the guy was using data from like years ago to show how much electric cars depreciate right now. And I agree with you, Sergio, that it's a bubble that we're in terms of car values. But I think electric vehicles are going to be holding their value a lot better.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be getting confidence in how well they're built and how long they last and how little maintenance they need.
Yeah, it's like the Priuses, right? I mean, Prius is a perfect rideshare car, and they keep their value even if you go buy a used. I mean, without this craziness in used car prices, even before this, they were keeping their value much better than regular ICE cars anyway. So, to me, it's like. So we have. I mean, I personally apologize to people who commented today because I couldn't answer any of the questions except a couple. So if you have any questions you want answered, please go email me at sergio@therideshareguy.com. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. You guys can reach Gabe how? Well, you're on the EV Facebook, RSG Facebook.
Yeah,
group,
please
right?
join our EV Facebook group. Should I post a link to that?
Absolutely.
Yep. See if I can find it. Here you go.
Yep, post that link.
Please don't flood our group with bots.
Oh wow. Well,
I think 2/3 of our members are bots, but our
likely.
real members are lovely, pleasant people. I appreciate them being here so much.
So, Chris, do a summary for 2 minutes. We went overtime again today, did we? Yeah, it's okay. A couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's just a couple minutes.
No big deal.
Overview. So we talked about the Uber surge. We talked about the incentives that they're pulling away from Uber, where Lyft is doing the opposite, where they're actually adding. It's kind of up in the air whether that's actually happening or not yet, because there's still some incentives when it comes to Uber, even though some people or quite a few people are saying it's dropping. Lyft is still kind of in that weird mix, whether they're going to actually unveil that, this week because their earnings call was last week or not. We did talk about the EV, so thank you, Gabe, for coming on and kind of giving us some ideas there. We went with the Lyft groups.
Gabe is the man.
Yeah, we talked about the Boost Plus, and then we missed one of the topics. That was area preference. So I don't know.
Well, you want to do it? Let's just do it.
5 minutes worth.
Let's just do 5 minutes worth. All right. So, last week I got this on my app. I don't know if it's available to all your states or cities that you're driving in. I don't think it's in San Francisco. Is it, Gabe?
I drive in. Well, now I've been driving in the East Bay because.
East Bay. Okay. No. Well, it's not available in San Francisco then. Okay. So this is something that I thought it was new to me because
the preferred areas.
Yeah, area preference. So I said, holy crap, this is what every driver wanted to have for years. Unbeknownst to me, that they floated this idea 2 years ago, actually right before the pandemic hit, and our good old Jake Crater, who's going to be a guest in a couple of weeks, had a video about this, which you guys can go see on RideShare Guy on the YouTube part. So the way it works is you pick your area, and then the algorithm will keep you in that area. How cool is that for every soccer mom? The downside, in LA, as big as LA County is, I studied the maps. I mean, it could, for me, it could be like a 15 to 20 miles square area. So that's where I'm at. You guys see my little cursor right there. So that takes me close to 20 miles north, at least 15 miles south, solid 20 miles east, and maybe 10 miles west. So that's a pretty big area. However, if you pick all of it, then you know, it's basically, you don't need to pick all of it. You're just going to drive in all the zones because that's LA County anyway. But the good side is it will not take you to Orange County, meaning it will not take you too far south. It will not take you too far east or west or north. So that's one good part. So I had it all checked. That's what the map looks like on the right. On the left, it's my area. You know, I live in a suburb called Granada Hills. So it will keep me in that area. I actually gave it a test. It did keep me in the area. Unfortunately, what it did though was when demand picked up in a zone, like it says Santa Clarita right above my little cursor up there. Santa Clarita is 16 miles away from me. I kept getting request after request in Santa Clarita because they had no drivers in Santa Clarita. And in Santa Clarita, it was surging like $25, right? So is it good? Is it bad? Yeah, I think so. I think it's good if you just want to stay in an area for a couple of hours, especially in those two small zones. If you guys can see where it says West LA in the middle screenshot, and downtown LA, East LA. If you put, you know, your choice in that area, that could be an additional DF for you guys. But then don't get fooled. That area is pretty wide. It's probably, you know, solid 20 to 25 miles across. And in morning rush hour traffic, that could be like 4 days in LA. So be careful doing that thing, right? So in LA, I think it's a good idea. The downside, one downside, is only effective for 2 hours. So I don't know. You know, if you want to look, if you're a soccer mom, you drop the kids off, you want to stay in your zone for a couple of hours, it'll keep you in the area. Pretty good idea. I think it's a pretty good idea. The fact that it's only 2 hours, I don't think is that big of a deal. I mean, you don't want to stay in your area more than 2 hours if you're a full-time driver anyway. You want to be where the surge is. So to me, you know, another step up for Uber from good old Pink Mustache, because by the time Pink Mustache figured this out, it would be like another 3 years. But
Well,
you know, I'll give Uber credit for this one.
Now, I want to ask you one question since you have it already. Did you? I mean, obviously, LA has a driver shortage there, so you might not notice this, but are you seeing a few less rides because of that? If you were just staying in that one area, because
honestly, no,
there could be
no.
other. Okay.
No, I'm telling you, all these, they are smart. Okay, they you know, cut it into 6 spots. Each spot has its own time and place. Like on the west side, Malibu, you know, Richie Rich areas, that place goes nuts. Castlemar and Pacific Palisades, that place goes nuts at like after midnight. You know, a lot of rich people get off home parties or whatever, so that's a good area. In the morning, in my area, I'm going to try this this week actually in my area, stay in my area, because what I noticed is that, you know, when we put up that map, the whole city is surging at like between 6 to 9 a.m. So it doesn't, you know, I was like, before I would beat my brains to get into the center to make the real money. But now I'm making maybe $5 an hour less, but in my area, there's decent money to be made. So to me, it's like, I'm going to use it probably tomorrow morning, get out there with that 2 hour limit, and let's see how it goes.
Nice. All right. And so we're going to wrap it up now, but Gabe, what is one tip that you have for for drivers out there that they could follow where they can get shown the money? What do you got a tip for drivers to show them the money?
I just laid a tip on my EV group this morning. Keep track of your inactive hours of that time where you're waiting for a ride and you haven't gotten a ride yet. If you keep keep track of that and keep your utilization rate up as high as you can, and try to figure out why your rate, it might be lower or higher than the week before. That could be a little bit of the puzzle that'll help you make as much money as you can.
I agree.
Awesome. All right. Well, it was another great show, and we will be back next week. So again, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, not only for that, but also the Ford Mustang Mach-E review for not only the car itself, but also driving for Uber, which is brought to you by Gabe. So that'll be coming out very soon. Also, our other great content that's coming. And then, you'll be alerted when the show picks up next week.
Yeah. And click like. There's 92 people watching and only 48 likes.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Smash it.
Let's fool the YouTube algorithm. Yeah.
52 angry guys. Come on.
Come on.
42. Come on, you
42
guys.
is not enough. Yeah, but let's see what it is by next Tuesday, though. We may get up to 100 this week.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
put a
Well,
like on it.
thanks for hanging out, watching. If you have any other questions, hit up Sergio at the rideshareguy.com. Gabe, did you post that link yet? I didn't see it on the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat, but now I'll put it at the bottom again, just so it's that's my
Hold on.
EV Uber drivers.
Actually,
my EV Uber drivers.
We'll put you as a mod, so then that way you can put links in, because otherwise YouTube will filter it out. Forgot to do that, so you should be able to now.
Oh, okay. Here we go. How's that? There you go.
I'll let you know.
Okay, there you go. It's the greatest Facebook group except for all the other Facebook groups. and 2/3 bots. So come on.
Verified.
Bots. Yeah.
Verified.
Is that verified? Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, Sergio,
Bye, everybody.
great.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right. You guys have a great rest of your night or day or wherever you might be in the world.
Take care.
See ya.
See you next week.